Hi everybody, my name is Scott Walls. For over 25 years, I've deployed ERP applications for some of the world's largest organizations. During that time, I've taught thousands of people just like you how to discover, use, deploy, and support Oracle's back office software. In this lesson, I'm going to show you the out-of-the-box reporting options for suppliers on the Supplier portal. Please note that this lesson is part of the Discover Procurement course. The Discover Procurement course can be found under the Discover menu option at www.fusionx.io. To access this course, select the ERP pillar, then Procurement menu options like you see here in the image. But before we get started, did you know that you could earn free discovery badges for display on your LinkedIn profile just by watching videos like this one? You can. Stay until the end of this video and I'll show you how. Okay, so here we're going to run through some of the standardized, the template in terms of what we produce for out-of-the-box reporting options. Supplier portal is a little bit different, so we'll probably do some tweaks. Like I don't know that it makes sense to work through OTBI on this, but we can talk about it. So let's talk about it. First, we'll pick a seated user. And so you'll see that's just somebody in the Oracle demo environment. So if you want to recreate what I'm showing you, it's easy to do it. Next, we'll take a look at that user's homepage. Then we'll take a look at the application homepage. So in this case, the Supplier portal homepage. We'll look at just one or two of what we call the application search page. Really, it's also known as the manage, this or manage purchase orders or manage invoices, those pages. And then lastly, we'll talk about, I'm not going to spend a lot of time with OTBI, but OTBI, Oracle Transaction Business Intelligence, is a tool that allows people who don't know SQL to create queries and reports pretty easily. And so it divides the world of transactions into business objects and allows people to put them on pages and write reports about them. So lastly, it's worth noting that this series of what's available out of the box for reporting is really showing what. So for example, this is not a video where you're going to learn how to use OTBI to create Supplier portal-ish or OTBI wizard reporting. Okay, so with that, let's go ahead and jump out of our PowerPoint. And you can see here, I'm logged into a seated user that is Ryan Lee. Ryan Lee is one of the supplier contacts for a supplier called Lee Supplies in the Oracle Fusion Procurement demo environment, or what they call seated environment. And so once I'm logged in as Ryan Lee here, then the next thing I can do is take a look at Ryan's homepage. So I don't see them here, but I could assign different infolets to Ryan's homepage should I want to do that. Okay, I can also then select the actual supplier portal, as that's the application that we want to jump into. So from this homepage, you'll see these infolets right here getting data or trying to get data. And so what they do is they draw the same thing that we have inside of Fusion for the internal users of Fusion licensees and procurement. You can see any number of different infolets that show you all of your transactions, let's say by status, or things that you need to pay attention to, or something specific about a given application, like my performance, if you will, within negotiations. So what you see here is some basic infolets, and those infolets are based on roles. And so if we created more, so for example, sometimes I'm seeing a bidder that can go out and look and see if they're already a supplier or if they already have bidders, who they are. So you can put queries, create queries or infolets and stick them here on the homepage. And it's a way that suppliers can see reports. So that's one way. Then what you'll see here, it's a little bit different than, or a little bit more than what you usually see for all the different applications, is if we scroll down a little bit, look at all this manage shipments, manage agreements, manage contracts, So these manage pages will allow you to, the manage pages will allow you to, or allow the supplier user to go and query and get a data. Let's take a quick look. Let's go into, let's say, let's see if we have manage orders. It's very similar to what we saw on the inside, So now this particular supplier user has a basic search with these fields, right? And they can put those fields, set them to values, search, and the section down here gets populated. Or they can go to an advanced search and they have additional fields that they can say, oh, let's add this field here and search based on that value as well, or they can remove it. Once they populate the fields that are down here, so if I wanted to say, hey, give me everybody that is a US1, right? Oh, here we go. So now I have all these different POs that are available to, in this case, Ryan Lee, a supplier, lots of data. And so this is a way that Ryan can run some reporting out of the box, as we've always seen within these application search pages. We have an advanced, we have a basic. You could save that to be the default for Ryan. You could add different fields for Ryan to see or not see down here in this section. These fields can also be moved around. And then if I want to, or Ryan wants to, he can export those out to Excel, right? So now recapping, there is a seated user that we logged in as Ryan, and that seated user had a home page. Didn't have any queries. Well, I had a few queries. No, I'm sorry. Didn't have any queries back on his home page, right? But did have some queries or reports and analysis here on the supplier portal page. And then we saw how we could go into the different application search pages, manage this or that or whatever, and create additional kind of queries, if you will. And then the last thing is, in theory, right, I don't think Ryan would do it, but if you're part of the organization and you wanted to build a query here, then you would have to go back out to OTBI and create those individual queries. And so we'd have to then we'd have to log in as somebody else, but there's a separate tool. That's it for this video lesson. Hopefully you've learned something. Thanks for watching.
Okay. As promised, here are the 5 steps you can perform today to start earning free badges for your LinkedIn profile. Step 1, navigate to Panameer.com and either sign in or join now. It's free. Step 2, in the upper left, under the Discover menu, select the course that you want to watch and get badged for. Step 3, watch all of the different video lessons in that course. Step 4, when it's complete, send your LinkedIn profile and the course you watched and your user ID to badges@Panameer.com. And then sit back and wait for step 5 when we attach a badge to your LinkedIn profile.